Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Today, I am covering a song that's one of my personal favorites, and we're going to talk about why it is. It's Barenaked Ladies, The Old Apartment. I think it tells a really interesting, tells a story from an interesting nostalgic position, but we'll get into it, alright? Let's just do this.
Broke into the old apartment. This is where we used to live. Broken glass, broken hungry, broken hearts and broken bones. This is where we used to live.
Okay, so I like to set up the premise of it starts off with the idea that he used to live at this place, and he literally, as he said in the song, he just broke in to his old apartment, and he's like kind of just looking around, he's just he sets it up by describing the scene first and foremost, broken glass, but he also is comparing it, making comparisons while setting up the scene, broken glass, broken hearts, broken hungry, broken bones, he's also comparing the idea of the broken glass to the things that have been broken metaphysically, metaphorically, and sometimes physically within the confines of his home, which is also a sense of reminiscing. So the broken glass, everything that's happening is making him think of the memories that he had here, because that's essentially what the song is kind of talking about. And he, while still there illegally, mind you, is running around, is walking around the apartment, thinking about the memories of where it is, and that's what it sets up. But then that also leads into this.
Why did you paint the walls? Why did you clean the floor? Why did you plaster over the hole I punched in the door?
See, it leads into that where it's now he's sort of just going over all the things that have changed. He's in this familiar place, but it looks very unfamiliar now. With why did you plaster over the hole I punched in the door? When you say why did you clean the walls? So it leads you to think that they probably lived a very gritty, on the edge, kind of on the edge, borderline situation in their apartment, and now it's all kind of covered. So he's in this familiar place, but it's no longer the same, and it's kind of hard to cope with. And I like how it moves around, how they're in the apartment, playing in an apartment, obviously, and it kind of moves to a different setting of what's happening within the confines of this building and all the different lives that are being led, and all the memories that are being forged within the walls of the apartment. Anyway, let's keep going.
This is where we used to live. Why did you keep the mousetrap? Why did you keep the dish rack? These things used to be mine. I guess they still are. I want them back.
Okay, I know I shouldn't stop it again, but this is another interesting point he makes. It's just because sometimes you move out of places and you end up leaving things behind, and you probably wonder where something is that you had before you moved, and it's probably still there. And since he's obviously again broken in, he's looking at the thing, there's a mouse trap. That used to be my mouse trap. That was my rag. And it's I wish they were still where I want them back. But also he doesn't just want those physical things back. He wants the memory back. He wants the feeling back, because these things are bringing up the feelings. But he's probably looking at through rose-tinted glasses now, back to him. But let's just keep going.
Broke into the old apartment. 42 stairs from the street. Crooked landlord, narrow laneway filled with crooks. This is where we used to live.
And one thing I really do like, especially in this second verse, is how he peppers in the little details of the physicality of the apartment, along with the combination of the memories of the apartment. So it kind of, so he's like, he remembers, because it shows you like how much is in his memory. He remembers how many steps it was from the street. He remembers it was 42 steps from the street. He lived there for a while, like to the point that he knows how many footsteps it takes. He remembers the crooked landing, the landlord who was apparently an asshole, and all the kind of shady figures that live there. Because as you can see, this is obviously not a upscale apartment. This is a dingy, dirty, like bad neighborhood apartment. But he's feeling very nostalgic for it throughout the course of this song, which is sort of the humor in it. And we'll get to why that's sort of like the dark undertone, the dark humor underneath the thought, the dark comedy, almost a tragedy sort of, but of the circumstance. But you understand. Let's keep going.
Why did they pave the lawn? Why did they change the law? Why did I have to break it? I only came here to talk, but this is what.
Now, I do love this. Like, I love this verse. Like, let's get into what this means. When he says, why? Because again, he's talking about all the things that aesthetically that have changed, which I think, in a sense, messes with his memory of the place. Like, it's like going into your old high school and seeing how many new things have been built and how many things have changed and how many things. And it's like this is a familiar place, but so many things are unfamiliar now. Like the lawn, the grass is now all paved over. The lock, I can't even use my old key anymore to get in. Like, but I had to break. But why did I commit this crime? I only came here to talk, and now either you can actually talk, or talk is like as into just reminisce. I just came here to look over the place, be where I used to be. So why did I do this insane thing? Because he probably got overly emotional about the situation. Let's go. I'm not gonna lie, this line, I just like this line because I think it's funny. The fact that like you had a complaining neighbor downstairs and that lady is still living there. And so you're like, I'm just gonna turn up the TV and stomp on the floor just to fuck with her. It'll be great. And I'm happy here. Okay, and now this the last verse I think is the most important thing. I guess it ties it all in. It's a nice little ribbon on the little bow on the present. Is that he's thinking about the present, like because he's like, I know I don't live here. We bought a old house on Danforth, which I'm assuming is a much better place. Like, and he's thinking about all the things they have now. Like, she loves me, her body keeps me warm, and I'm happy here. And he kind of realizes that, like, that things maybe, I think, weren't. Because I used to think I misread that line. At first I thought he said, but I'm happy here. But now I think he's saying, but now I realize he's saying, and I'm happy here. Maybe I'll go relook that up again. But take it from that, in that he's now like, he thinks like he realizes that what he thought he had there, the memories there, he's looking at it through the lens of nostalgia. He's looking at it through the rose-tinted glasses, but he's also at the same time describing all the messed up things that happened in that apartment. Broken like windows, punching walls, crooked people, crooked structures in the building. And now he realizes that like where we are is in a much better place, and I am happy here. And let's just go into the final verse, and I'll give my final thoughts later. And then they're going to go into this chorus of I want them back, which I think is also important because it points out that like while he is happy in his current situation where they are, I think they really cherished living in that downtrodden situation because that situation is kind of what made them the people who moved into the house. Like they went through hardships and went through tough times, but they made it through it all and they survived it importantly together. And in the end, this is ultimately a hopeful song where they came out for the better, but you say still kind of long for those struggle days because that's where a lot of their probably most crucial memories were made. And they you can't ever have that again because once you attain like stability and move on to a better situation, you can't necessarily have those same kind of hardships that kind of forge you anymore. And sometimes, oddly enough, the moments when you have the least are sometimes the moments when you were the happiest. And maybe even made some of the greatest memories. Not to say you can't make good memories now, but you know what I mean? And I think like that kind of shows the duality of thought about situations. I don't know. Okay, well, that's Barenaked Lady's Old Apartment. I really love that song. Let me know what you think. You agree, disagree? Have you ever heard of Barenaked Ladies? Let me know. So next time, I'll talk to you later. Peace.